So, this might be a surprise to some people, I'm sure. As you can see, the thumbnail was not clickbait. You can see that I am in 60 GT or the Kingdom 1960 now. And remember that video I made about a week ago where I was saying I plan to migrate to a high Imperium Kingdom at some point within the next few weeks? That kingdom ended up being 1960. And I've been approved to migrate here for about a week now, or a week and a half. And an opening just popped up. They actually dropped out of Imp like really fast. And I just hopped on that opportunity and migrated here. So yeah, I am here in 1960. I remember 12-inch was flexing that he got into 1365. I think it is a much bigger flex to get into 1960. As you can see, very good One Alliance Kingdom. I mean, not just very good, one of the best, right? So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of questions. I'm going to hopefully answer some of them as I walk through the process of explaining how I got in. Let's start with my application to 1960. So before I get into my application to 1960, I wanted to talk about two of the other kingdoms, which I was planning to migrate to, or thinking about migrating to as well. And as you can guess, one of them, another high Imperium, is 2377. So this is one of their migration officers, or leaders, whatever you want to call them. Just asked, am I from 1818? At that time, I was still in 1818, of course. So I have info from that KVK. I just sent that to him. And then this was my info from about 2 KVKs ago. I think I did 2.5 build. This is my, 2.5 build KVK. Do I max tech? A guy or girl? Get that question quite a lot. But yeah, as you can see, I'm full free to play. How many farms do I fight with? All those sort of questions you might expect. I think at this point he was a little impressed after seeing all that. Then I just started my gear. Then he just sent me the invite to the migration Discord after that. So that was basically how it went. But 2 days later, as you can see, 2 days later, I got confirmation that I was accepted into 1960. So at that point, I didn't want to be like rude to him or anything. I just said, I'll be probably migrating somewhere elsewhere in a few weeks. It actually happened a lot sooner than I expected. But if it doesn't go as planned, just keep my info in hand. But yeah, once I joined 1960, I just left that Discord, and that was the end of it. So yeah, I was considering 2377, but they are in KVK right now, and most likely it'll be at least a month or even longer until I'll be able to migrate there. So I didn't want to wait that long. That was why I eventually ended up deciding on 1960. So this is one of the kingdoms I was considering, but it didn't work out. Another kingdom I was considering is, as you can see, it is 2489. You might have guessed if you saw Foe right here in the chat. So I was messaging Foe from 2489. Just sending my account, stats, all that sort of stuff. I'm from 1818. I think they're friendly with 1818 because they're both Vietnamese kingdoms. They also have Arvix. Yeah, they have a bunch of Arvixes in their kingdom. At the end of the day, he just didn't reply to me. So you can see the conversation how it sort of went. I don't take any offense if he didn't reply. Because 1960 accepted me a few days later. It was no big deal, but I did reach out to 2489 to look into migrating there, but they didn't get back to me. And 1960 did accept me, so I'm pretty happy with the outcome at the end of the day. But yeah, these are the two kingdoms I was looking into: 2377 as well as 2489. But I did end up deciding on 1960 to migrate to. And yeah, let me get into the application now. So as you can see, the application to get into 1960 is pretty standard, right? Just give a showcase of what your count is like, gear, armaments, marches I use for field, being able to buy tech, and prepare resources for KVK, and what I like most about 1960. So, pretty standard stuff. I filled out a ticket and I applied. Unfortunately, I closed the ticket soon after I was accepted. I guess I just got a huge rush, adrenaline rush, and I just closed it. I thought I should have used it for the video, but I took screenshots of the important parts to use later on. But anyways, the gear and armaments, I just sent all that sort of stuff. You've seen my gear and armaments if you've seen my previous videos, as well as my marches. Being able to buy tech, I've stated, once again, I will remain full free to play probably until I quit, most likely. So I will still be free to play 100% in GT. No flux scripts, nothing. The Mina icon will still be there until I quit. Prepare resources for KVK. As you can see, I migrated in all my farms into 1960. This is just on one login. I have all my other farms on a different login with my main account. But yeah, I'm just farming it away right now at the moment. So I'm pretty good on resources. As you know, I have 11 farms, all City Hall 25. What I like most about 1960, I believe I wrote that I like that they take hard KVKs. I don't like easy KVKs. I actually like losing. I put that all down. So that's the reason I like 1960 in particular. So yeah, and that was what I wrote in my ticket. Let me show you like how the response sort of went. So as you can see, this is the first sort of message on 7/29. So 1960 obviously wasn't KVK with 1818. So this is Pika who helps with migration in 1960. So sorry for the delay. We have a lot of applications from the KVK itself. So if you still want to come, we will accept you, but you need to be at 65 mil without hospital fill. So 59 with hospital. As you can see, I did drop in game, not this one. I did drop in game to 60 million. I believe I was at 59 million before I migrated. So I did drop a considerable bit to get in here. You do seem like a great player who has the grind. We have to give some priority to players with tech. That makes sense, of course. Whales, spenders will obviously have an advantage compared to free-to-play. And I said I can do 59 with hospital. Can I drop to 59 by running troops in the hospital, or has to be deleting troops? All those sort of questions I was just asking, which is not really that important. But as you can see here, if you check in game, I did drop quite a lot of power to get in. As you can see, I killed a lot of troops just so I could get below that 60 mil threshold. If you kill in a node also, you get a lot of training speed us back, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I did drop quite a lot of power to get into 1960. But I think it'll pay off long term, obviously the gold chest and the speeds and all that sort of stuff. So that's how the initial response went. And Galv, who also helps with migration. So just to confirm, I will have a spot when migration opens, and it will be in GT. I had to make sure I was not getting into like a Farm Alliance or something. So yeah, Galv says yes. All right. Talk to you guys more closer to the migration date. That's just how it went. So what happened next, I actually got really lucky on. So what actually happened next was somehow 1960 managed to drop out of Imperium. Most likely what happened was that 2489 hit Imperium, as well as 1960 had some farms that maybe disappeared off the map that caused 1960 to drop Imperium. They're actually still Imperium right now, but when I migrated, they were out of Imperium, and then as soon as I migrated, they actually hit Imperium, which is really funny because as soon as I migrated, they hit Imperium. I actually had a friend who was trying to migrate here as well, and we just hit Imperium when I migrated. So you can see, scroll on here. Let me know when you guys want to fill hospital to migrate. I can drop to 59 million. This is literally like 3 hours ago. Looks like you guys dropped out of Imp. I don't know how close the line is. You can, then I'll open the door. All right. So talking also Pika as well. Just make sure everything's ready, all that stuff. And then, 5 minutes later, this is my friend who's also trying to get into 1960. I feel really bad for him. So as soon as I migrated, they hit Imp, actually. So my friend who was ready to migrate as well, he was not able to migrate because the kingdom just went Imperium when I migrated in. So yeah, that's more or less how it sort of went down migration-wise. Yeah, I'm now in 1960. I'm sure you guys have a lot more questions. Let me try to answer some of the more obvious questions which some of you guys might have. So let's start out with some of the more obvious questions. Am I the first free-to-play player in 1960? So the answer to this is no. There's actually a free-to-play player already in 1960. His name is, I believe, Arcane Avenger. So this is the first free-to-play player in 1960. I'm not the first. So by that logic, I'm also not the first to get VIP 18 as free-to-play. I would say I am probably the fastest. No, probably not the fastest. This guy probably got it before me, but I'm probably the fastest to reach it with good account stats. Let's leave it at that. So as you can see, this guy is T4. He stays low power. And last KVK, I believe he spent most of the KVK killing 1093's reinforcements as well as farms. So I believe he has a pretty good role in 1960. Not much of a very prevalent field role. I think he actually uses 3 cav marches, just sort of runs around. But yeah, to answer that question, I'm not the first free-to-play player in 1960. I'm also probably not going to be the first free-to-play player to hit VIP 18. This guy definitely hit it before me with the GT Gold Chest. So yeah, that's probably one of the more obvious questions you guys have for me. Let me answer another question, which I'm sure a lot of you guys also have. How long am I going to stay in 1960? This is also something I'm thinking about myself. I did say I was going to return to 2268 at some point. I still think that's the plan, but right now, as you know, I made clear, my first priority and almost priority is hitting VIP 18 for that extra march speed as well as troop capacity. So I would like to stay in 1960 at least 2 KVKs, I would say, to hit that VIP 18 mark. After that, I'll explore my options. But right now, I'm mainly focused on getting VIP 18, as I stated. I do want to make up for the, extra bonuses which I get, which will obviously help me accommodate for the loss in Crystal Tech. So at the moment, I'm considering 2 KVKs in 1960, and then I'll decide once I get to that point. And lastly, I think a question a lot of you guys also have is, do I think I can manage in 1960? I've been spending so much resources and speed ups in other kingdoms that are low Imperium and high A seeds, and going from low Imperium and high A to a high Imperium like 1960 is a very big change. I'll be spending a lot more speed ups, a lot more amount of resources, as well as a lot more amount of my time playing KVK out. So it'll be very difficult, obviously, for me. I'll see. Obviously, I think I can manage. If I can't manage, we'll have to see where I go from there. But I do want to try something a little different, and that's why I was planning to migrate to a high Imperium, not just for VIP 18. I wanted to try something new as well. This is my first time, trying a new kingdom that's very competitive, one of the highest performing kingdoms in the game. So I'm looking forward to it, of course. And yeah, that's what I think probably my most asked questions will probably be in this video. If you have more questions, obviously just leave them in the video and I'll try to respond to them in a timely manner, of course. But yeah, I want to say, of course, thanks to the kingdoms that helped me out get this far. Obviously, I plan to go back to 2268 at some point in the near future. 1818, thank you for accepting me for 1 KVK. Also to the people who gave me a good reference in 1960, I thank you as well. I won't name drop, but there were some people in 1960 who did give me a good recommendation. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, I'm glad that I got into 1960, and what's done is done. I'm gonna prepare for the next KVK, and hopefully we have a good time. Yep, that's all I got for this video. TLDR, I'm 1960. I'm happy. I got my goal, and hopefully I get VIP 18 soon. And yeah, that's all I want to talk about in this video. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. I'll try to respond to them when I can. Thank you.